This is DDS. We are your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and the man Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker. Parker, give me some good news.
Hey, man, it's nice to see you all on video remotely. This is nice. This is good. Coming to you from an undisclosed Titan two-tone location.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, new technology change energizes us again.
It does,
folks.
man.
It's always changing here on DDS.
Absolutely.
In today's show, we're going to talk about Brady's retirement. Or is he? Aaron Rodgers winning the MVP. And maybe a little land that he purchased in a state in which we live. Our Super Bowl prop picks. Our Super Bowl game picks. But first, we're going to do a little segment called Going Around the AFC South.
All right.
We're going to begin right here like we always do with our hometown team, the Tennessee Titans. A couple of topics here, Parker. Let's give a shout out to some players. By hook or by crook, they are Pro Bowlers. Kevin Byard, Jeffrey Simmons, left guard Roger Saffold. Byard, 2 tackles and a safe and a pick.
It's about time Byard makes his Pro Bowl. I mean, a few years ago he led the league in interceptions and he didn't get to the Pro Bowl. So yeah, congratulations for him. It's the most boring thing to watch in sports, but you know, I'm happy for him and he showed up.
We'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there to talk about our thoughts about the Pro Bowl in general, but a lot of local talk about how some of these gentlemen just overlooked. We're talking about Simmons and Landry. I don't know so much about Roger Saffold, that there was much of an uproar about him not being voted initially into the Pro Bowl, but it did seem kind of short with the number 1 seed of the AFC only having 1 representative, Blake.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. I know that there were a lot of Titan faithful that kind of used it to kind of energize some of the guys there on the field. It felt like it was a bit of a snub, particularly for someone like Jeffrey Simmons, who's just had an amazing year. It just seemed like a total snub to me. Like you said, Roger Saffold, that was kind of underwhelming as far as a Pro Bowl pick. And kind of getting in through the back door there, it kind of just seemed like a little bit too late for Titans fans.
But at the end of the day, Parker, it all counts as a Pro Bowl appearance, right?
Yeah, it's all the same. Like in 10 years from now, we're not going to be looking back at this and say, hey, there's a asterisk or something on this. They made the Pro Bowl. It is what it is. It happens for every single team. And Tennessee, the Titans, this is it's become normal for me over 20 years. They always get overlooked. It is what it is. I mean, Indy led the league in having Pro Bowlers, and they don't even make the playoffs. So it's really a popularity award.
I got a question to Blake. Why did the Colts not make the playoffs?
The short answer,
Carson Wentz.
Yes. They are just a terrible terrible team with a terrible quarterback. What else can you say? I mean, he Carson Wentz'd it up.
Good. Did anybody watch the Pro Bowl?
I forgot that it was on.
Parker?
It gets no, I don't. It gets these ratings that they keep doing it because it does get high ratings. I mean, it gets higher ratings than just about any other thing in any other sport because it's football. But I, honest to God, don't know who's watching it. I eat, breathe, and live football, and I don't watch any of it. I think we should do away with it, and it should just be a awesome skills challenge. That's what's fun. You wouldn't get hurt. That's really what the Pro Bowl is to me. But the skills challenge comes on Channel 2 at 1:00 in the afternoon. Like, let's make this an event, man. Let's see who the fastest kicker is.
Yeah. Why not? Why not put that in prime time? Put it under the lights. I grew up with it, watching the little targets going across. Where
it's fun.
Have 3 throws, who can throw it the longest type of thing.
Yeah, they even had in this one, it was awesome. They had like an accuracy contest, but it wasn't just quarterbacks. They had the receivers doing it too. So it was just so bad. But it was fun. By the way, they had Mac Jones in the accuracy contest. awful. They brought in Russell Wilson. Man, he was dropping it in a bucket. Yes.
Yeah. So for the game itself, I didn't watch either, I admit, but I've heard
it's basically two-hand touch, right?
I heard that it was worse than flag football. So I'm like, why even do it at this point? You never can make it worth anything. You can't just like have it mean the winner gets, you know how they're doing 17 games now. They're like, well, the winner of this game, that means that the AFC teams will be the home team in the 17th game.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but there's just zero interest in my mind surrounding the game.
It also, so the divisional loser has to coach that game. It seems like a punishment to me. Like you've just lost, and now you've got to go next week and prep for this game. Let's make it the Jacksonville and Houston and Detroit's coach has to coach, and the winner gets the first round pick. It's just something. It's just so bad. NFL does everything perfectly, other than the Pro Bowl, and it's just absolutely awful.
There you go, folks. The general answer is we here at DDS don't like the Pro Bowl. Sticking with the Titans, they extended both their head coach and GM this week, Parker. New contracts.
As they should. I mean, why shouldn't they? We don't know how long or for how much or anything like that. They don't have to disclose that with that level. But why shouldn't they? I mean, they've gone 3 straight years under Vrabel. You know, they look good. They keep moving in the right direction. I was expecting it, right?
Yeah, I think that everybody knew that they would do it for Vrabel. I think everybody had question marks surrounding John Robinson just because of, there's been some total busts here. But I think a lot of people have busts when it comes to drafts. But I didn't see any reason for him not to extend either one of them. For how long? I don't really know. I don't know what the right answer is. It's hard to really hold a season against a coach and a GM. Whenever they had as many injuries as the Titans had this year, and particularly when they handled it as well as they did, quite frankly.
And there has been, I'm sorry. There has been bust, obviously, the first rounds with John Robinson. That's well documented. But what people don't mention are his trades. I mean, Tannehill, he got basically for free. He got rid of Dorial Green Beckham to get Dennis Kelly, which he was going to cut that guy. DeMarco Murray, he got for basically nothing. There's been a lot of really good trades, honestly, over the course of his tenure. I'm trying to remember all of them and look them up while I'm thinking about it.
But I just think that they go hand in hand, and my team cannot get the GM coach relationship right. So, as much as I want to, dig on Robinson, but it's, John Robinson and Coach Vrabel, they work well together, and that goes a long way in synergy of a team. And I wish my team had it. I still don't think that my team has it. And by the way, congratulations to Coach Vrabel on winning the 2021 AP NFL Coach of the Year. 91 players, Parker. Unbelievable.
You're right, though. They do go together. They're thick as thieves. That one cannot survive without the other. If one's gone, the other one's gone. But we got to be careful. And it's good that he won Coach of the Year. Don't get me wrong. It means it was a great job. And one of the first people he thanked was those 91 players. Of course, he didn't mention any names because he probably doesn't know half of them because, they weren't on. They're sitting at home. But you got to be careful with this. In 2018, Matt Nagy won it for the Bears. 2016, Garrett won it with the Cowboys. So this is not a guarantee moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of people hating on the selection. I don't really understand why. I mean, there was the comment that how is it that they play one playoff game and they're out, and the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. Why isn't he winning Coach of the Year? And it's
not a postseason award.
Exactly,
No,
it's not.
They have to vote at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, it's a short-sighted view on that selection.
But honestly, I get their arguments because I agree. Like the postseason should count. It just doesn't because they literally don't vote now. And Zach Taylor didn't get they got to the Super Bowl not because of Zach Taylor, but
Joey
McPherson, I would say. But we can get to that later.
All right, moving on in the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars have hired a head coach, gentlemen. It is not Byron Leftwich, but it is Super Bowl winning head coach Doug Peterson. Parker, we discussed it pregame here. Doug Peterson hires one thing, but there's still a GM sitting in the office.
It doesn't matter who they hire at coach if Balky's still there making the decisions. Peterson famously does not get involved with drafting and player contracts like that. That's why he's out at Philly. It's a whole long thing. But Balky is going to be the guy that makes these draft picks. So they're going to take the guy that literally made the worst hire in the history of the NFL, and he's going to be in charge of the franchise and who they pick first overall next year. They did get lucky and back into the best coach I think that they could have gotten, but until they get rid of Balky, there's nothing.
We wanted Byron, though. You wanted to just say it again. Say it one more time for the
people. Back Byron. I mean, so this is the thing. I mean, we already talked about the John Robinson, Mike Vrabel synergy and kind of how it affects things, and I totally agree. It's not going to matter. They could literally hire Bill Belichick. It really doesn't matter. If Balky's still there, if the synergy's not there, if they're not all on the same page, the organization's kind of pointed in the right direction right now, but they're not heading in the right direction.
What does this guy have to do to get fired? Like, seriously, I don't know. What does he have to go out and shove Trevor Lawrence down a set of stairs? Like, I'm after the Urban thing, I don't understand how everybody isn't gone.
Does Balky have something on Shad Khan? Where Shad Khan can't let him go?
I think Shad Khan still doesn't know what he's doing yet. And I'm not blaming him.
He's great with automotive parts. He's great with all that, but maybe Shad, maybe.
I just
maybe
feel
it's
like,
time to turn to Tony Khan, your son.
I mean, I'm afraid he's being sold a bill of goods by Balky.
Well,
that's it.
We've seen that story before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Other Jaguar news and highlights for the week.
My God, there's more Jaguars.
Yes.
How about that?
Former left tackle Tony Baselli was elected to the NFL Hall of Fame. He was their first ever draft pick. He was a part of the All-90s team, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3 NFL All-Pro selections, Hall of Fame defensive end. Jason Taylor says if they didn't turn off the lights on that game, he'd still be out there kicking my ass. And Bruce Smith, man, this is the game that put Tony Baselli in the spotlight. The 1996 playoff game, the Jacksonville Jaguars headed up to Buffalo, their first ever playoff appearance. And Tony Baselli matched up one-on-one with him all day. No chipping, no help. Bruce Smith, if we remember, when we were really young in 96, he was the defensive player of the year with 13.5 sacks. And Tony Baselli allowed nothing, pushing him around, bullying him. And Bruce Smith was the one that kind of introduced him there on the NFL Honor Show.
I mean, that's what you want from an offensive lineman, right? You want a bully. That is the mold that all tackles and guards are cut from right there. That's what you want.
That late 90s Jags team had some players, and I can't believe this is the first person that's gotten to the Hall from them. I mean, I've still stayed on soapbox for Fred Taylor. You know, I don't know his stats exactly with everyone else, or golly, even like Mark Brunell back then. You know, there were some people, and Baselli was excellent. I remember us going against them all the time.
Yeah, I think in the late 90s, I think of the Titans, and I told Blake pre-show, I was like, man, I think of the Titans, and I think Eddie George, I think Steve McNair. Hell, I even think Javon Curse because I like the Florida Gators, but you know, Jags, you can think of Brunell, Jimmy Smith, Fred Taylor, Tony, others, Donovan Darius, Rasheed Mathis, all of. But the Hall of Fame is, you know, more exclusive. You can have the Titans Ring of Honor, the Jaguars Pride. But maybe one day, I don't know. Maybe we'll do, as Parker said, maybe a little show about 3 people that deserve to be in the Hall. And maybe we do 3 that we
somebody write that one down. I like
out.
that. We like elimination. What about addition shows?
Oh, I've got an elimination already for you, fellas.
Oh boy.
Colts, not much to say about here, other than they did hire defensive coordinator Gus Bradley, the old Jacksonville Jaguar coach, to be their defensive coordinator. And Parker, I have a stat for you. Gus Bradley, 14-48. Good enough for a winning percentage of .226. One of the worst all time.
Hell, yeah. Well, he's also one of the best defensive coordinators of all time. He's a reason for the Legion of Boom. Raiders significantly got better last year, and he is well connected with a lot of these Raiders free agents. I think Marcus might be back in the AFC South because of this. You've got Casey Hayward that could be a cornerback for Colts next year. I think this is a slam dunk hire for them. They just need a quarterback.
That was going to be my follow up. Does it matter? I mean, if the Colts can play lights out defense, but they're still scoring 12 points a game, is it going to matter?
I really think it's a big question, right? I, honest to God, think Marcus might be there next year.
Wow.
Because he's the highest paid backup in the league. They've got to move on from him or start him. He's got to go somewhere. And if you don't mind me circling back around with your Jags,
Yeah.
I say there's a hire there that's really going underlooked, and that's a great offensive mind in Jim Bob Cooter. This guy played at Tennessee. He's an awesome quarterback guy. He was behind Peyton in Indy, in Denver. He was behind Stafford for those couple of good years in Detroit. He was offensive coordinator there, and really underrated. Again, they need to do something about Balky, but pretty good staff they're putting together.
Do you know who else they've signed on the offensive side under the coaching staff? Former Chargers coach Mike McCoy has joined the staff. So they're putting a lot of offensive-minded, quarterback-minded people around Trevor Lawrence, their biggest asset.
They have to.
They've got to. That's the most solid brick that they have to build on right there. I'm just glad that he got through this year without getting hurt. Playing in a bunch of games that meant nothing in an offense that they knew they were not going to continue. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he's not physically hurt, but is he man, that was bad.
Yeah. Did it damage him?
So going back to the Colts, Gus Bradley, and I read reports that lawyers are putting up signs to try to woo Aaron Rodgers to Indianapolis. That's not going to happen. The Texans and Parker are in the news. They've elevated someone from their staff to be their new dead man walking head coach.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, he did win Coach of the Year back in the day, so let's throw that one out there. But I love the beard, by the way. The beard is awesome. He has to keep it. This is dead man walking, and this is absolutely the dumbest hire. The Texans, I love having them in the division, thank God, because they do the dumbest things because they fired a coaching staff and then promoted somebody that was underneath them. I don't understand why they just didn't keep Coley. This makes zero sense to me.
Showing the love to Lovey, Blake.
Man, I saw a clip of him calling season ticket holders the other day, and dude, he sounds like he's been living in a retirement home or something. He sounds so slow, and I don't know.
I think he knows what's up.
I do think he knows what's up, but I think he also, with all the kind of the bad juju going around the NFL right now with the race stuff and everything with the NFL, I think he gets it. I hate it that that's how we're determining hiring coaches. Not that he's not deserving. He is, absolutely. But it's kind of, we got some really weird moves going on at the moment.
Yeah. But they already had they already had a black coach.
I know.
If that's the case, it didn't make sense to fire him for another one. In their defense, the Texans are getting a little bit more with the times as far as age as a coach. There 2 coaches ago it was 70, and now he's 68. Now he's 63. So they're starting to get there. But I don't get it. He was a coach just a couple of years ago at Illinois, and he was just awful.
I got nothing else with the Texans.
Nah, I don't either. I mean, I'm with Parker. I'm just glad they're in our division because it just seems like they have found a way to take a team that started with a stud at quarterback and just completely go down the ski slope from there.
He's still on the roster.
Yeah, he is.
We'll keep up with that news as the offseason progresses. Quick hitters here. Tom Brady announces his retirement. We'll go around the table here.
Yes. I meant to say something about the Texans. The one thing that they did right is they let go of their offensive coordinator, Tim Kelly, because the Titans have picked him up as their offensive passing game coordinator. This guy was Deshaun Watson's hand-picked to be the offensive coordinator. This guy took Davis Mills, a 3rd-round quarterback that we expected to be trash, and he had the best rookie year for any quarterback. I think it's massive news that this is our new passing game play caller because Todd Downing was awful.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, we can do a whole show on that.
But he is still there.
Yeah, well, for how long?
Maybe
he was great in the run game.
Maybe Vrabel likes him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little Tony Khan.
Yeah, nah, there's a little too much loyalty hiring going on, I think, sometimes.
Well, I don't know. All right, so now we'll go to the quick hitters. Tom Brady announces his retirement. We'll go around the table. Is he really going to stay retired or something else? I predict he stays retired. Congratulations, Tom Brady, to the best NFL career, clearly, that I've ever seen, and arguably that anyone has ever seen.
Totally agree.
Do you think he stays retired?
It's probably the best of all time, regardless of what he does moving forward. The one thing I will say about Tom Brady, he is in that class with Tiger Woods. You never say never, and you never rule him out, because he's just he's a once in a lifetime kind of talent, and I can't ever root against a guy. Everybody that roots against him has lost tons of money in the past. So, but yes, congratulations on a great career. Nashville loves you.
Yeah, he's staying retired. There's 98% chance. Although part of me really wants him to go mercenary style, and I want the Cardinals to trade Kyler Murray to Tampa Bay and him go somewhere that's nuts to win a Super Bowl. What I'm going to remember about Tom Brady isn't the Super Bowls, isn't the wins, isn't all this stuff. Dude is freaking 44 years old and had the second best year he's ever had. I mean, there's no like Peyton Manning noodle arm year where the defense wins you something. He is still a top 3 quarterback in the NFL at almost 45 years old.
I mean, he had to come in second to only the winner, which we'll talk about next. Aaron Rodgers wins the NFL MVP. Some interesting takes, some hot topics coming out of this Aaron Rodgers situation here. Mm-hmm. So he wins this MVP, Parker. He has some comments, a couple of interviews to say afterwards. What were your takes from those?
It's not even what he said on this thing with Aaron Rodgers, that he won this award. I'm not one to get out of shape about awards because they're so subjective, but this is so absolutely asinine that he won this award. Do you know where Aaron Rodgers finished this year in passing yards and quarterbacks? 10th. He was 10th in passing yards. Do you know where he finished it in touchdowns? 4th. I went back and looked and tried to find somebody that finished first in passing yards and first in touchdowns and didn't win the award. I couldn't find one. Guess what Brady was this year? First by 1,300 yards over Aaron Rodgers. First in touchdowns. I went back and looked over the years. In 2011, Rodgers won it. Or I'm sorry, not 2011. In 2021, obviously, Rodgers won it. Last year, he was first in touchdowns. In 2019, Lamar Jackson won this, and that was because his rushing touchdowns. 2018, Mahomes first in touchdowns. Brady won it in 2017, first in yards thrown. It goes on and on and on. I went back about 10 years. But the point is, he won this award because of what he did all year. Because he sat there and said, I'm being silenced by the media. Because he went on the Pat McAfee show every other week. Because he had a 28-minute interview with ESPN. In it, he said, I'm being silenced by the media. I'm just telling you right now, the AP voters were tired of hearing it. They did not want to hear, well, he didn't win because we don't like his vaccination status. I'm sorry. You cannot be most valuable player in the league if you didn't do everything possible to be out there for every single game. It's like saying, you know what, steroids are illegal, but I did them. I should still be MVP. No, you didn't go by the rules of the game. He missed a game because he lied to everyone. This guy should not be MVP. Sorry.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was a Parker's Powerbomb. An impromptu.
Sorry, I've been needing to get that off my chest for a while, guys.
Yeah, I think everybody could tell.
Wow. So Aaron Rodgers, Blake, his name has been linked to right here in Middle Tennessee. Any thoughts about that? Did you have any things to say about that?
So
Jared Stillman thinks that he broke news.
A lot of local guys, they broke it late that week, and I had got news. I had got word about it that Sunday before. And I had texted these guys. I mean, I'm not going to show our text thread just because we talk about some crazy shit. But we did talk about it. Parker was like, man, it'd be cool to break this.
He's like, give me a minute. Let me look up some things.
We kind of beat around the bush. I don't know if we really thought that it was super duper
important.
I don't just whether it really had any bearing over anything. But yes, we knew about it. I had a contact that was in direct contact with who was going to be his neighbor. So I don't know.
Let Jared take his credit. Jared wants to be the hero.
Yeah, we'll let him have the hot take there, I guess.
Parker, you're best friends with Jared, right?
Oh yeah, really good. We get along really well. I'm with Blake though. I reached out as well after he told me, which was awesome. And I tried to find a couple of people, and I had some people like, yeah, I heard that, but I could never get it solid. But I don't think it matters. Right. Rex Ryan lives here. He's not going to be the coach. Bill Belichick's got a house here. He's not going to be the coach. Like we could go on down the list. Of how
Nick
many
Saban has a dealership here. I mean,
yeah. Do you think he's been there other than when it opened? I just don't think that it matters in the long run. It's interesting. It's good talk for the off season. It'd be too expensive to get him. I had a conversation with a buddy of mine. He's like, man, I give up 3 first ones for Aaron Rodgers today. I'm like, you're freaking crazy.
You're stupid.
That just shows that he knows John Robinson wouldn't do anything with him anyway. Yeah, so just take Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I just
that's true.
People like to buy land here in Tennessee.
Why not? It's cheap.
No taxes, no state income tax.
We're a free state, for God's sakes.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, we live in the free state of Tennessee.
Come on.
So yeah, it's a beautiful country out there, and where he bought this land is particularly beautiful. So
hey,
doesn't surprise me that he wanted to buy land here.
Pipe dream. You never know.
Actually, I'm more surprised he hadn't already.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
We'll move on to some Super Bowl prop bets. Every day, Parker. So I'm very active on both FanDuel and DraftKings, and every day DraftKings is putting up their Super Bowl special prop of the day. And I've partaken in a couple of these here. I've got Joe Mixon to have at least 10 yards rushing in the first quarter. I put some money on that. I did some on Odell Beckham Jr. to have at least 4 receptions. I read something about an octopus. What is that?
Well, I would like to tell you it's this famous octopus named Paul that used to always pick the games correctly. It was absolutely fantastic. When I worked at WSMV, we used to go down to the zoo and have every animal pick. It was awesome. But sadly, it's not. It's where you score a touchdown and that same player scores the 2-point conversion. Which is not near as fun. Can we just pretend whether it's not the octopus got it right or not?
Yeah, that was underwhelming.
What are some other ones? Do you have some of your favorite yearly favorites?
I've got some good ones this year. So the anthem is set at 95 seconds this year. The anthem traditionally almost always runs, doesn't matter who's singing it, for 2 minutes. You can go back and look through the history of it. So take the over on that one. You've got Simone P. Ryan. His rushing and receiving total right now is at 15. Take the under. Last week, I know he had like a 40-yard burst to be able to break that easily. That's the only game that he's broke that in this postseason. Also, my favorite one, it's minus 500, so you'd have to do 500 to win 100 or 5 to win 1, but it should be more like minus 5,000, is whoever wins the coin toss will defer. These teams so far have deferred, both these teams, every single time this year. In fact, of the 40 contests they've played in, 39 of them have been deferred. The only one to not was the Jets, so go figure with that. Also love Higgins over, Burrow to have a pick, and then one of my favorite, McPherson. His field goal attempts, not even field goal made, field goal attempts are at 1.5. Go ahead and get some extra juice on this and take him to make 3 or more field goals. So far this postseason against the Titans, made 4 field goals. The next game, made 4 field goals. The AFC Championship, made 4 field goals. Joe Burrow has thrown for 4 touchdowns this offseason or this postseason, and McPherson has made 12 field goals.
I mean, the facts are the facts. And I don't mind doing a little juice on Stafford with a pick. Because I was telling Blake earlier this week, I mean, this guy this year, Parker, he's thrown more pick sixes this year than Jared Goff has in his entire career.
I'm so excited about the Jared Goff comparisons this game. Yeah, I mean, he led the league in interceptions. There's no doubt about it. He had 17, but he also had 41 touchdowns and had more passing yards than Aaron Rodgers, MVP of the league. So I just, but yeah, he is prone to have one or two interceptions, especially if they back up like they did against Kansas City and they played 8 men back and only rushed 3. He's going to want to force one in there. Yeah, absolutely. I think they both throw an interception.
Is there a Cam Akers fumble prop?
You know, I'm sure there is. I haven't seen it, but there are just a countless. There, you could bet on anything you want to. Obviously, you've got the coin toss. You've even got which Gatorade they're going to dump on them at the end.
Oh, the color.
At the end
That's right.
Yes, and for all you people that the degenerates that bet that. So how they do that? They put out 3 random colors, and that no one knows what they are. So when they grab it, that's the first time they know it. Take whatever the worst odds are. Because if you're betting, I think blue's the favorite. Like. Take the one you're going to get paid the most because no one knows.
But it won't be mayonnaise, right?
Oh, God.
Like in the college bowl game.
Yes, it's awful.
Well, let's see what else we got. Snoop Dogg coming up. He's bringing his friends to the halftime.
I'm actually looking forward to that. I think that might be pretty entertaining.
Dr.
in
Dre,
California, right?
Eminem,
California love.
Mm-hmm.
The LBC,
California.
Knows how to party.
So we have to pay for the rights. I love the lineup. I'm just super interested to see how do they. Man, they got 5 superstars. What are they going to do in like 13 minutes? I'm interested to see how they mesh this all together. It's either going to be an epic Super Bowl halftime that we're talking about for generations, like a Michael Jackson or something, or it's going to be just someone's getting stuck in the mirrors like they did last year.
We can move on to picks. What do we think about the actual game, though? Is this a sexy matchup? Is this the ho-hum? Why? How in the hell are the Bengals here? I mean, we know why the Bengals are there, right? Because the Titans lost.
This should be a Titans-Rams Super Bowl. They really should.
Yeah, somebody predicted that.
Yeah. They really screwed it. They blew it this year. I mean, and injuries obviously had something to do with it, but not really. I mean, there was a whole comedy of errors, quite frankly. So can't live in the past, I guess. But as far as this Super Bowl, I mean, for me, it's a very uninteresting Super Bowl to me. It's very uninteresting. I'm a Joey football guy, but I'm not a Bengals guy. I think the worst thing that could happen for the AFC is for Joey football to go in this and win a Super Bowl and get confidence. And now all of a sudden he's got a little bit more swagger to go run roughshod all over the AFC. So regardless of how terrible his coach is, I think that's the reason that they're there. It's just Joey football and his offensive weapons just willing their way there.
This Cincinnati defense has played really well too. I mean,
surprising, right?
Yeah, I mean, as bad as they've been this year, and everybody's talking about Aaron Donald and all the defensive line for the Rams, but man, the Bengals have got a good defensive line too. And if you remember what Big Jeff did to the Rams, the Bengals could also do this to the Rams and take this game over. And if you look at this game on paper, there's zero reason why you would pick the Bengals if you're just looking at it on paper.
Exactly.
But you know what? I've picked against the Bengals 3 straight weeks. And you know what? For 3 straight weeks, I've been wrong. But I will say in every single one of those games, and I don't know if this has ever happened before for a team to get to the Super Bowl, they've been outgained in every single game.
There's something going on here with this Bengals team that I can't put my finger on. Whatever it is, they got it. And is it a Cinderella season for them? Does it continue? I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think it does. I think this is a 31-27 victory for the Cincinnati Bengals and Joey big time football.
I got a problem, Parker. There's too many people, and I think the Bengals are the easier team to like here. I heard just this morning that some bettor put $5 million
was me.
It was Parker
on the Cincinnati Bengals money line just to win outright. I think that just comes with what people want to see. So my feeling is that it's going the other way. I think the Rams have just got too much. And quite frankly, I don't even think it may be that close.
Okay.
I'm leaning more towards like a 27-16 game and just a bunch of field goals from McPherson. But I don't know. I'm going Rams with my pick.
I believe if you think Bengals are going to win this game, it's because their defense shows up and they win this game 18-15. McPherson has 5 field goals and a game winner at the end. And if you actually think that they're going to win this game, you need to put a bet on McPherson to win MVP and be the first kicker in history to do it. Because it could happen. If he makes 2 50-plus yarders and a game winner, I mean, I think he's 150 to 1 right now. Like, it's worth throwing $10 on. But I just think that this Rams team is too good. I said it in the preseason. This Matthew Stafford trade was going to make this team the Super Bowl champions, and I picked them over the Titans. And I don't think it's going to be close, fellas. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Joey Football is going to be eating grass the entire game or turf the entire game. I think this is going to be 31-13, and I think we're going to have us a boring Super Bowl.
So here's the thing. I'm going to piggyback off of that because we are both on about the same page. We think it's going to be Rams, too much offense, a couple of field goals from McPherson. But if this happens, Parker, what about throwing a little juice on Aaron Donald for the MVP?
So I've thought about this. The only problem with that is he's 6-1. So who I would go with, because it's going to be random on defense where it's going to bounce.
Von Miller?
He's 10-1. Leonard Floyd, though, is also on that defensive line, and he's 100-1. So who says he doesn't scoop it up and score the touchdown? Or Jalen Ramsey, he wants to shine. What if he's shadowing Chase the entire time, and Burrow's forcing into him because he's down, and he pick six it, and he wins it 100-1. So, like, I think you could definitely have a defensive player on the Rams to pick it. So my advice, if I was betting that, was just take the one with the odds that's going to pay the most, because it's just random. You know, I do think if Jeffrey Simmons wins it, it's a much like a defensive effort for the whole team, and they just give it to him. Like when Ray Lewis won the MVP for the Ravens a few years ago, you know how many tackles he had in that game? 3. He won MVP with 3 tackles. So they just give it to the best player on the defense. And that could happen with Aaron Donald as well.
Well, yeah, be careful. You said Jeffrey Simmons, and all of Titans world got nervous.
No,
they're like, wait a minute.
Not Jeffrey Simmons.
Big Jeff.
Not Jeffrey Simmons. Speaking of Big Jeff, I was looking at Spot Track earlier, who keeps track with contracts and what players are worth. Do y'all know what they say his yearly pays, his salary is going to be? And this website's usually spot on. It's $22 million a year.
Woo! Pay him.
God, it's expensive.
I don't care. Mortgage the farm. I don't really care.
Aaron Donald, obviously.
There you go. We got 2 Rams. He's rolling the dice one more time with Joey Football. Why not?
I'm just going by what I've seen. Going by what I see, but we'll see.
I can't pick them because the only thing that makes you look worse from picking them 3 times and against them 3 times and then picking about a 4th and being wrong 4 times in a row is to finally go the opposite way and being wrong that way. So I just got to roll. I got to roll with the Rams. Another prop I like also, by the way, as it's looking, is first quarter under. It's at 9.5. Traditionally, that happens in the Super Bowl. And then the third quarter for being the highest scoring quarter.
Halftime adjustments.
I guess.
That's all I've got on the sheet.
Super Bowl. It's here. This is going to be interesting.
It marks the end of the year. It's kind of a happy and sad time altogether, Parker.
Yeah, it really is. I was really sad last week with no football. I mean, a Pro Bowl, but
Absolutely. Well, hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this our Super Bowl pick show. We encourage you to head over to Twitter, check us out there at DDS Sports Talk. Leave us a comment there. Tell us what you think the Super Bowl winner is going to be. Who's going to be the Super Bowl MVP? Is it going to matter? Is it going to be a boring game? I don't know. We'll just have to see. I'm thinking Joey Football is going to show up again. Guys, closing thoughts.
We should be there. We should be there.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jacksonville Jaguars own Tony Baselli, I'm so happy that they have a representation in the hall.
Yeah. Very nice stuff. But no matter what, it's always two-tone blue all the way. You guys be well.